And while I got somewhat of a break in traffic, these guys with the real feathery leaves and the purpley stalks here, that's hemlock. Hemlock, the herb, like the herb that killed Socrates. So, back in my local neighborhood, looking at what I can see here in this no man's land. But something blooming over there. I'm not sure if this is, I don't think it's a calorie pear. Ooh, butterfly. He's cool. But yeah, something in the apple family. It doesn't look like a regular crab apple. It might be just a domestic apple tree from somebody throwing out a core on the side of the road. But at any rate, moving on. Still sad about this guy. I used to visit this Virginia scrub pine like every time I came through here. It's got the, well, this guy actually looks a little green still. It's got the cones with the little prickles on it. Needles are in bundles of 2, a little bit twisty, maybe like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. So, but yeah, sad to see this poor guy go. Oh well. That's life along a multiple utility right away, I guess. Moving on. Stuff here. This is garlic mustard. I've seen it get a lot bigger than this. It grows just about everywhere. It's an invasive weed. It is edible though. Be careful identifying it. It's got these more or less heart-shaped leaves that are very toothy here. The distinguishing thing is it smells a lot like garlic whenever you pick the leaves. Obviously, you can't tell that through the camera, so be careful. This guy here looks like some sort of an elm coming out. He's just a little sapling. The only reason he's leaning over this far is because he's got a branch fell on him. And this guy here, you can tell going farther up because of the splotchy bark right away. It's a sycamore. But anyway, moving on. Bluets. Neat little flowers. Not a lot of foliage with them. So they're nearly impossible to identify. They're nearly impossible to even find on the ground except for when they're blooming. Oh well. Moving on. These little guys that look like umbrellas. And there's one over there. He's got 2 leaves and he's got the little flower bud in the middle. They're called Mayapples. They tend to have their little yellow fruits much later, but they tend to bloom in May. When they first come up, some of them look like this guy here. Only got the little 4, but they get more as they get older and larger. So, moving on. Just flip this to see who's home. A couple Sowbugs, pill bugs, roly-polies, whatever you want to call them. And this guy right here is a little cricket. They call them camel crickets because they got kind of an arched back. I guess it looks like a hump to some people. But at any rate, nothing more interesting than that. Well, so far at least I don't see any flowering, but these guys here with the speckled leaves, those are all trout lilies. They usually only have like a leaf or 2, and they'll have either yellow or white flowers. 2 different species. One has white, one has yellow. Not sure which kind these are because I don't see a single flower. But I'll turn the camera back on if I find one. Decent amount of them right here. Almost to the bottom of the hill without killing myself. Took a little different way that you can kind of tell somebody with a 4-wheeler come blasting up here, but anyway, moving on. And these yellow things growing down below are some sort of buttercup. Not sure exactly which species, but they all generally tend to have the divided leaves, and obviously the yellow flower that gives them their name. A lot of them have larger petals that overlap more. Here's the sword that somebody took the manhole lid off of. It's been off for a while because it's got vines going down in it. Yeah, not a place you want to visit. There's the lid. But at any rate, wander back to more flowery things here, and yeah, here's a really big trout lily. Ooh. And he's got a yellow flower. Looks a little bit past its prime, but I knew they looked big enough, just a little bit late on them, that's all. So these are yellow. Creaks up a little bit, not too bad. A whole bunch of horsetails here on the bank. These aren't the scouring rushes, these are the normal little Equisetum species. There's some more over there, but there's a bunch of them right in this little edge along the bank here. And over there, the whole hillside's just Trilliums. I'll try walking up there before I decide where to go. I was thinking of going down that way through the tunnel and exploring the other side. Figuring it out as I go along. Wanted to stop, take a look at this guy. I believe that's Houstonia Spring Beauty. This guy looks like he got run over or something. Here's a Trillium kind of close to the water here. But you can see there's Trilliums all over the hillside. These are the big white flowered Trillium. Trillium grandiflora, I believe. But yeah, I'm gonna wait a little farther up. It's early June, or not early June, early May. It's like the 1st or the 2nd today. So a lot of people wouldn't consider it very warm, but me, all I've got with me as far as footwear is some sandals that I'll probably kick off halfway through and everything. So see, I'm kind of wading through almost knee-deep water here. So here's a close-up of these guys. And this guy here, this is wild ginger. There's some more of it over there. See if these guys, there's a flower of the wild ginger right there. Hopefully that shows up good. They got this little inconspicuous flower down there right next to the ground. A lot of people don't see it. Here, this one's got one too. You can look right down in it pretty much. So, wild gingers, Asarum canadense, I believe. Yeah, even though like there's a housing plan up there and highways and roads all around me and sewer lines and power lines and gas lines going through this, it's still a refuge for some neat things here. So I enjoy it all. There's a Christmas fern in the middle there. But at any rate, moving on. This water is getting cold on my shin bones a little bit. That's a nice, just whole field of Trilliums, whole hillside full, with some other neat little wildflowers thrown in. There's another, yeah, that's some other type of Clatonia or something, hidden in the shadow of the bigger Trillium right there. But at any rate, we'll move on a little bit. Just another kind of slow panoramic shot of all the Trilliums over there. Kind of stop there, but kind of neat. And the creek itself looks kind of scenic from this point of view. And these little hand-like feet. They're kind of superimposed over each other to some extent. But the little tracks here. First I wanted to say raccoon, but they don't look quite hand-like enough. At any rate, moving on. I have a pinkish tinge. I think this is a Japanese flowering crabapple. Not 100% sure, but it kind of looks like one, so I'm going to go with that. And that guy over there, I can't really tell because the leaves aren't out good enough. It looks like some sort of viburnum because he's got the flat-topped clusters of flowers. Check back when he flowers out a little bit more. But yeah, being close to road right-of-ways and civilization, like that's multiflora rose. I don't even think any of our native roses get that big. The only ones I've seen are usually about knee-high, maybe waist-high. They don't go 8 feet up a fence. But yeah, multiflora rose has these backward curved prickles on it. There's our other old invasive friend, Berberis thunbergii, or thunbergii, however you're supposed to pronounce it. Japanese barberry. People are still selling these for landscape plants. They're taking over the damn world, unfortunately. But at any rate, moving on. Gonna see what's on the other side of the tunnel besides graffiti. Haven't really explored that side of things too much, so I figured it'd be a little different for today. Shit, I turned the camera back on and they seem not to want to stick around. There's swallows buzzing around. I don't know if they got a nest in here or what. They don't seem happy about my approach at any rate. A lined bottom on this arched culvert here. But yeah, I don't see a nest. I see a grapevine hanging over up there. You can tell a grapevine by the shreddy bark. And that other stuff up there, you can just barely see. It's going out into 5 leaves. That's Virginia creeper. Whoa, slippy algae. And this right here is Japanese honeysuckle, semi-evergreen, invasive piece of shit. The Virginia creeper is native. It kind of holds on with little hairs. Oh, just noticed that. Got a vulture circling overhead. Hopefully they're not thinking I'm going to die in the tunnel. And the tree's kind of obscuring them a little bit. But yeah, Virginia creeper uses little hairs to attach to things. Kind of like poison ivy, but not quite as hairy. But at any rate, onward, hopefully without busting my ass. Can't remember the name of it. I'll try to look it up and put it in the description, but more neat little flowers. And that's obviously a deer print. Deer went off that way through the gap in the fence and somewhere. But I turned on the camera to show this. Saw the little hairs that make it stick to the tree. That's poison ivy. Always good to know that if you're allergic. I'm not. It's not really poisonous. It's an allergic reaction that somewhere around half the people in the world have. But if you can recognize it from being hairy like that, you can avoid touching it in winter when it don't have any leaves to identify it.